Welcome, beautiful souls. As you arrive in this moment, I invite you to take a breath and settle into a conversation rooted in honesty, resilience, and a kind of wisdom that only comes from lived experience. Today's guest has walked long and a courage path, one marked by recovery, service, creativity, and deep commitment to transformation. I'm honored to welcome Hillary Momberger Powers. Hillary has been in recovery since 1983 and has spent more than 40 years as a mentor, writer, and a public speaker, supporting others on the of healing from addiction. In her early 1990s, Hillary served as the program manager for the first sober living house for women, alcoholics, in the United States, a groundbreaking program that later became known as Promises and helped establish what we now recognize as aftercare in recovery. For over 3 decades, Hillary has worked with hundreds of women whose lives were devastated by alcohol and drug addiction, guiding them through growth, healing, and the often uncomfortable work changing one's inner world. Her story also carries a unique chapter as a child. Hillary was a well known actress, voicing the character of Sally in many of the Charlie Brown cartoons, working alongside Charles Schultz and Bill Mendelsohn. Today, her passion lies in alcohol, speaking about alcoholism, family dynamics, mind shifts, ego, character change, trauma healing, how to use our scars not just to survive, but to thrive. She offers guidance toward love within, freedom from emotional bondage, and release from toxic patterns, procrastination, and limiting beliefs with a refreshing commitment to truth refusal to let people not stay stuck sitting in their shit. Hillary will be soon publishing her memoir, Good Grief, Hollywood Ate My Childhood, chronicling her journey from self destruction to redemption. And she is also the author of 2 children's books, Zach the Yak, Zach and Tack Are Back. So, as you listen today, you may find yourself recognizing parts of your own story, hearing the truths that challenge you, and feeling the possibility of change where you once felt stuck. Welcome, Hillary, to my show.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I really appreciate to be a part of your platform and
You're more than welcome.
awesome and being able to share with your audience that good news, nothing stays the same. The bad news is nothing stays the same. But hey, change is incredible. Change is good.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, in 1983, when you look back now,
hmm
what do you see differently about the person who you were at the beginning of that?
Gosh, if I look back all the way, I was 21 years old and there were so many things going on. First of all, I had no clue who I was.
Mm.
The who I believed I was
Hmm.
during all this process is uncovering, unshedding, throwing away, adding. I realized the woman way deep down in that basement I call the subconscious mind where God lives is the one that emerged. I had to get rid of all these old ideas and these lies and these beliefs and all the shit I was programmed to think I was in order for me to emerge. And at 21 years old, I thought my life was over. I was already at hit bottom, on my drinking and using, in recovery. The drink is really just the solution to shut this mind that is so fractured and so hurt. And this mind has been so detached from my heart that it is, it's in program, it says glass in hand, I've warped my mind. And I don't even have to put the glass to my mouth. I think that this is the answer. Some men do it with women, with porn, with shopping, with gambling, with, more, or I did it with food and with drinking and with guys and it didn't matter because I thought this would fix me because I was spending my whole life living outside of myself. And so when I got to that point where it was like glass in hand, I warped my mind. What does warped mean? it's deformed. My mind has been deformed. If you take a piece of wood, I live at the ocean. I take a piece of wood and I throw it into the water. When it returns, because everything comes back around, now it's warped. It will never, ever be the same. But I'm going to keep jumping into that water trying to find that straight piece of wood. And I do that in my everyday living. I keep going back to the original wound, which I talk about as my wound. I keep going back. I keep trying to find that where did it go bad? What happened? What happened? But I think that if I go and I recreate it in the day that I'm in, I'll change history. The fuck did I come up with that? My ego's big. My God connection's small. So I got to become God. I got this. I'll do this. So I spent, I and end up at 21 years old. I had overdosed on a fire escape, and I didn't have a belief in God. I was raised Catholic. We know that goes. It was like I always call that an aerobics class. Stand up, sit down on your knees, in your mouth, walk away. I didn't have a relationship with any power other than my fracturedness. So I kept going to my hurt mind for direction, for what do I do with my life? Is that a good person? I kept grappling. My thoughts were so, I say when my mind is hurt, it doesn't see things from love. It doesn't see things clearly. It just sees it distorted, deformed, warped. And that was the beginning of my awakening, you could call it. There's many different words we use in our environment today. I wasn't asleep. I was just very, very protected. I was protecting my pain. It's my pain. It became my identity. Being a victim was my power. So when I kind of, whatever we want to say, awoken or came to or got dry or no longer I opened my eyes, I realized I had a lot of work to do, but that's what I'm here for. And I got that very young, like, wow, I guess at first I guess I'm here to suffer, poor Hillary, I laugh at it now. I was like, oh my God, here she comes again. She's talking again, poor girl, shoot her. Put the dog down. But when I came to that place, it was like, wow, I got a lot of work ahead of me, and today, years later, I'm going in my mid 60s. I'm like, wow, it was the best job was finding out I was not what I thought I was. That was a job, but the payoff was incredible. That's my 401k. All that work, man, I am rich, rich, rich now here.
Love that. So in the early you helped lead the first sober living house for women alcoholics in the United States. What did you learn from those women's that still inform your work today?
Well, it's funny because I got this job and I'm a repeat and rinse, I'm an equal opportunist. I'm on my fourth husband. Don't worry, ladies. You'll get it. I'm a little hard-headed. Pain keeps shields up, fear, fear, fear. But so I had gone through a divorce from my husband, who I'm great friends with. He actually is a big part of Tony Robbins' company. He's awake. He's one of us, let's just say, whatever that looks like. So, you know, we joke around about it and we were like, I picked you from my wound. He said, me too. So that's where I got my whole setup and what I do. I work with people. But so I had nowhere to go. And a friend of mine, Richie Rogg and Annie Hall, not Annie Hill, not Hall, but she said they were opening up. They got this great idea. We all got clean around the same time. And they said, we think we need women. Women are really battered when they hit bottom. Men survive in the streets, women don't. We just don't. Physically, we break down quicker. And we get hurt, we get raped, we get killed, and what have you. We wanted to open this place. And she said, and I said, well, I could help because I have nowhere to live. I'd gone through this divorce. So I was kind of thrown in this position. I'm like 23, 24. I don't even know what day it is half the time, and I live in this little tiny shack behind this three-bedroom house, and there's two women in each room. And I have to make sure that they do their chores. I mean, like talking to 60-year-old women, and I'm going, "You didn't make your bed?" So I had to implement structure, and I didn't understand what I was doing, but what I was doing is I was facilitating safety. I was helping them create a space where they felt safe. I wasn't doing it. I was leading them to do a function that made them feel like my bed's made, everything's okay, or I've got food in me, everything's okay. We had the lights out at a certain time. We set up meditation. We'd all read spiritual books together. I'm like a kid, but I didn't know I was storing all this stuff in my brain going, this is weird. And I had to participate in it too. Because what you teach, if you don't do it, you preach. Big difference. So here I am doing this stuff. We have to eat a certain time. We keep the house clean. We bring in healthy food. So I don't know that I'm helping them seeing, tasting, touching, hearing, smelling, no smoking in the house, smoke away from the house if you're going to do it on the sidewalk. So I'm actually participating and helping teach these women to calm their senses down. I don't even know it. There's no drinking because now you're not polluting yourself and putting a different spirit inside your system because that's all drugs and alcohol is. I call it the devil's just in a different disguise today. It's taking over your soul. You're no longer attached to your core, your heart, that subconscious God-centered place in your system. And so here I am. I am guiding them to stabilize, to calm their trauma down because these women were living on the streets. And all of a sudden, they come into this ecosystem where they're in the herd. They're not picked off because they're hanging out on the outskirts, put a cattle or you put deer, and the ones in the middle, man, they're the ones that survive. So Annie was very cognizant. She was a therapist, but she was kind of a hippie girl, used to be backup dancer for Tina Turner. So she was awesome. She's very cool. She was, this awakened spiritual woman that was clean also. We all kind of grew up in the same village. And so here I was doing this. And, I didn't realize that just by simmering down, I call it the simmer down effect. The first bottoms that's a foundation to build on a very strong life. Like you need a solid foundation, but you got to stabilize. And from there, you get the sense of belonging. And all of a sudden, they felt like they belonged and they were no longer single. Me, I. Now it's a we world, and we're protecting each other and we're allowing each other to be more feminine. Because when you're, getting high and living on the streets, there's nothing feminine. I got to tap into my male side. Otherwise, I'll get eaten alive and destroyed. It's wild, wild west out there. The streets are not pretty. And so these women were including myself because I'm now showing them. So I got to do it too, is to maybe just calm down and kind of like my flower opens up. Like it's okay. There's a strength in being vulnerable. It's not a weakness. It takes a lot of courage to be vulnerable. So we're all exposing our hurts, our angers, our disappointments. And so this community, then, this esteem builds up, the self-worth. And then you can go, okay, I'm going to get a job. So we all encourage each other to get a job. And then, from there, then you have something of value to help another human being. So you got to keep it going. It's like the airflow. the airflow. If it doesn't move, it gets stale and it kills you. It becomes bacteria and it kills you. Got to keep it going, keep it moving. And so, I was blessed. It was hard. It was scary. It was painful because, my lower self wanted to stay stuck. I want to be a victim. Like, come on, at least it's my victimism. And now I was giving it up and I was no longer, you know, I was encouraged and pushed, and I call from God, my understanding. It's mine. He lives in me, not you. So it's my understanding that God wanted me to grow and he gave me these incredible opportunities. Pain really is the threshold of my growth. I don't pay attention when it's so from there they opened up their second one and it became a huge success. And it became a moneymaker. And, because like every known actor had gone through, because I'm in LA, whatever. And so it was an incredible experience. And from there, I branched out and went to art school, and I worked full time. While I worked, I ran this house, and when you're able to, like, calm yourself down, which we're all capable of it. We don't have to pay somebody. We don't have to wait for someone else to do it. I encourage people when I work with them, I don't want you to, and as I said earlier, I don't want you to rely on me. I want you to rely on you. You got it in you. If you are your energy frequency, if you are from that God's atom, that God frequency, vibrate to a mass, it becomes you. Where did you start? That was your gift. So tap into it. So I like showing people, you got it. And then I'll show you how to get to God. And then you guys go tear it up. I don't want that. So I learned to not attach my worth, my self esteem to what you do other than what I do. And I create a feeling so I can do it again.
I love it. Yeah, it makes total sense. So, what patterns do you see again and again when it comes to addiction, trauma, family dynamics?
Well, we all grow my family, we attach it, it becomes so personal. When I'm a kid, everything is about me. You know, I come from this core, God brings me down here, bam, I become like this embryo created. And it's like, I'm so excited. It's like, oh my God, I can't wait. What do I. Well, when you get something happens as a kid, we all have stuff traumatized. Think of the trauma being a tremor. You get jolted. Like, whoa, what the fuck just happened? There's my trauma. And I got to keep going, but I'm still trying to figure out what happened. What happened? Just keep going. There's a bus up ahead. Turn right, turn left. Yeah, but what just happened? And I go, I'm going to get to it later. There's my trauma. So that little I'm going to get to later. Now, everything after 3 days, food stinks. Family stinks after 3 days. Don't let them stay too long. I always tell them, have them 3 days and then they're out. They're going to stink soon, right? So I keep stuffing that traumatic event and I get back to it later and later, but it drives me. The stink, the stench, the pain, it becomes corroded. It becomes cancerous. And what does cancer do? It kills, it destroys, it takes the life out of it. So, this cancerous event we call trauma, I had 100 of them. And I kept saying, I'll deal with it later. Now, when I'm a child and my mother beats me up and tells me she hates me, she should have aborted me. I put that in I have a trauma tank.
Hmm.
Oh, no, I'm not lovable. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not smart enough. What's wrong with me? I'm flawed. I'm fucked up. I can't remember because I can't put it back in my mind that my original origin was from God. I'm perfect. You told me I wasn't perfect. God told me I was incredible. He's like, I made another masterpiece. But my outside said, you're not enough. You
Mm.
didn't fix me, so you're a piece of shit. That's in my interpretation, I'm this little girl. I can't figure out. I'm still seeing colors and shapes and I'm living my senses, thoughts and smelling and tasting and excitement. And I can't work this out. makes no sense to me because my left brain isn't even developed at this point. My frontal cortex hasn't even evolved. Yet I'm supposed to figure out, oh well, she has an alcoholic and she's a narcissist and she's a mess. I can't even think that at that age. 6 and 7, I just think something's wrong with me. And I stuff it down in my basement. It's sitting, I always say, stuff it in my basement. God's sitting there too and just waiting for me to bring it up.
Nice. That's beautifully spoken. So you speak openly about mindset changes and ego. In your experience, what role does ego play in keeping people stuck? And
Well,
how can it begin to soften?
the ego's not a bad thing. You can go to Freud and all those guys and, Jung and ego id. We have different types. It's like, different models of cars. Still going to get you to it's still going to take you the same place. Different roads, like it's super ego, usually it's a destructive path. The ego, the regular simple ego says, you know what? I'm going to wear this blue. So I'm going to put my blue necklace on. I want it to match. I think I'm going to comb my hair. Oh, it feels good. I comb my hair. Really not that good today, but it's okay. I love myself anyway. There's my ego. I'm going on this job interview. Do you think a bathing suit top, you think no, that's not a good idea. I think I should probably put a suit on. I don't think a boss would, should I tell him about my excursion, selling my body and being bulimic and trying to commit suicide 7 times? No, I don't think I'll do that. There's my ego. So what happens, that keeps me stabilized. My ego, I need it. I need it. But when you are traumatized, jolted, you're now off. So now I think I've got to be better than you just to be okay. I think I have to be amazing. I have to make all the money, have all the money and usually it's an external thing. I have to have the food, the job, the degrees, the ego, not to be better than you, just to be right sized with you because it was so off. Now that's a trauma response. Because the flip side of that ego, because the ego's never satisfied, I can have 50 degrees. I can have 100 houses, $1 million. I could have the greatest guy, the house, all this stuff, because it's all usually external, but it's never satisfied because I have no God implemented in me that it can't taste anything. It's like eating, going, I don't know, should we taste something else more, 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 more? When that doesn't get satisfied, it flips all the way to the other side. God, I'm such a loser. That's also ego. That's the supersized ego. I'm not, oh God, I'm such a loser. God, I can't do anything right. She doesn't love me. Mom even said I'm not good enough. She's right. So what do? I act out on that. I become what I think. My hurt mind says, you're not worth anything. I might as well get high. I might as well slit my wrist. I might as well steal that car, rob that bank. I just want to feel good now. And then it flips back down to, what's the matter? "Ah, nothing. I'm just, that's the ego once again. It's trying to get something. I get attention. I get pity. There's the flip side. Either I get a lot of like, oh my God, she's amazing. Look what she does. It keeps everybody away. So does the other side of the ego of like, I'm just depressed. It's like, oh God, I'm not going to call her again. She is a downer. And yeah, so there's just different sides of your ego. And the one ingredients that's missing is God, because I'm trying to play God. I'm trying to predict, create. I'm all from this untouchable, unsatisfied side of me. I'm not satisfied when I'm depressed. Do you want something to eat? No, it just doesn't taste good. And I don't really want to change my clothes. I don't care. Why should I wash my hair? Why should I show up? Nobody's going to talk to me. It's like, ugh. And then the other side is like, of course I'm going to go. Everybody wants me. You're like, ugh. You know what I mean? So it's like so bipolar. Yeah, but that is all based in a trauma response.
That's crazy. Like, who'd have thought like that's how the ego worked? Because we've been told the ego is like, well, you're egotistic because you're macho, you're tough, you're considered a douchebag. And it's the polar opposite. It's wow, it's mind-boggling what we really don't understand.
No. Well, we have been programmed, we have been taught, that's how you keep people in line, baby. Shut up and listen. Hello.
That's very
Whoa.
true.
Right? Shut up and listen. Goddamn defiant child, put him away. He might poison the rest of us. Get rid of him. Get rid of him.
And meanwhile, it's actually the total opposite.
100%. It's so wild. It's a crazy ride we're on, guy.
Can you share what the shift looks like in real life? Like what shifted inside of you and how like you experienced it? For someone who's just like experiencing awakening and also like your experience in Hollywood and like what brought you to this awakening.
We grow I mean, I grow up I don't like speaking in we statements because I don't know how you think, feel, act, smell, I know nothing, but I know for me that I was indoctrinated into a world as a child I looked like Shirley Temple. I had ringlet hair, and cute little kid, a curse and a gift at the same time. So I was, inappropriately taken care of. It was all these little, God, I wish I looked like them. It's like there's a package that comes with stuff. Everything's got a package to it. And so as a kid, I was put into this world of acting. At 5, I got my first job. I was just Hillary. I didn't know that I was trafficked by my mother and I was being farmed to feed her unsatisfiable ego, keep the money coming in more and more and more. But I did it because my fundamental needs needed to be met. I wanted to be loved. I wanted to be approved of. I wanted to feel that first feeling I had when I was birthed by God, which is pure love. And then it starts dissipating when we're here a long time that connection goes away until you look for it again. And so here it is. I'm a child that's giggly and happy and everything's great. And then I go to my mother who's unavailable because she's shut down. She was fractured. She was raped. She had her trauma. So she's leading with that wound. Keep them all away, control everything. And so as this kid, I was just I didn't know that I was a people pleaser, a loner. I was controlling everything because I was trying to feel safe because I felt so scared inside. And so when I got into this grappling to feel better, to feel better, to feel better, to feel better, I didn't know I was going outside of myself, but I'm taught that everything's outside. Hollywood, it's the magical place. It's happily ever after in Disneyland. And, when you are on the screen, your life is amazing. That look at, all the actors, we focus on them and go, wow, when I get there, one day I'll be happy. Finally, when I hit my bottom, I realized that happiness isn't out there, it's in here. But how do I get there? One step at a time, one day at a time, one lie I get to take away, one truth that I realize it's not even mine, I can get rid of, one prayer away. And that takes patience, but I'm in a hurry. I want to hurry up and feel better. I want to hurry up. Come on, let's go, go, go. Because I have this infantile ego. Remember, I don't got God. It says, if I'm the king, then you'll all love me. If I'm the queen, then when I have everything, you'll love me. There's my infantile ego. That's like a 5-year-old. I'm top of the hill. You're on your bed. You know what I mean? You're not on top of the world. You're crushing your pillows. So it's like, here I am. Or the flip side of, maybe somebody will rescue me, So then I go outside of myself. Are you my daddy? I'm sleeping with all kinds of men. Will you fix me? Will you love me? Would you? I keep doing all these things because I don't even know I'm in here. I think I'm out there. And when you hit that bottom in your addiction or your thinking or maybe food or shopping. It doesn't matter. It's not what you're doing, it's why you're doing it. Like, so I believe in going back and, sometimes it's with somebody, but, I always say ask God to go with you. 'Cause that's a power. It never stops, It's higher elevated. It's not better than, it's just higher elevation. When they say I am enlightened, means my load is getting lighter. That's why I go to God. I want to get lighter and lighter. Because when you're in your thoughts and in this, it's not here. That's why when you take a breath, when you say, let's take a breath, it's like, wow, I'm tapping into this internal source that's already there. It came with me. Oh my God, I forgot. I forgot. I'm so coated with bullshit that I can't remember. So that beginning thought and that beginning action, I try to do it with the senses first. I go tackle that first, man. That's like stops the car. So I don't know if that answered your question, but I hope it did.
Absolutely, that was powerful. Your upcoming memoir titled Good Grief Hollywood Ate My Childhood. What do you hope readers feel or understand after reading your story?
Well, I wrote it a long time ago and I've rewritten it and, everything's timing because I don't think my soul was ready to receive what it's going to receive. I wasn't prepared. I call it my soup. I go, so how come I'm not here? How come I didn't have my life is, when they always say, why am I not there yet? It's like, dude, your soup's not done. If I serve it too soon, my chicken soup, salmonella. FYI, you're dead. You're going to have your mitochondria is shot to shit, honey. But it was time. I wrote it after my brother had passed. I didn't know. I kept thinking, I think it was probably I started writing in 2005, somewhere around that 10, but 7. My brother had passed, my mother had passed, my dad had killed himself. I mean, I have a lot of events. I don't say, traumas, whatever. I call them, I was activated a couple times here and there in life. But after this, I kept thinking, why did I go through all this stuff, God? And I would meditate on it, like, what the fuck? I'm the girl that you can't tell what I go through because I got a pretty face. This shit's going away, so I'm not that attached to it. But, you're like, "Oh, you must be." No, it's good mirrors, babe. It keeps people away.
Mm,
It's a blessing and a curse. And so I just thought, why did I go through all this stuff? Being left on freeways. Mother took every penny I ever made from my 100 commercials and TV shows and doll voices and threw me into foster home and arrested me for hitting her. I was just defending myself and living on the streets, selling myself, being raped. I was raped 3 times. Don't talk about it. I'll get back to that later. I'm garbage. These are the truths I live by. I'm not worth loving. I'm not worth protecting. I'm not worth taking care of. All these old wounds.
mhm.
And I wonder why I can't pick a great guy or live in a good neighborhood or pick a nice thing or have great friends because I don't believe I'm worthy of anything. So I'm at this place and I'm like, God, I'm in a recovery for so long. What's going on? How come I'm not there? I don't know where there is, but there is there. When am I going to get there? Where? It's right here, right now. I can't find happiness, joy, or God anywhere else but right now. And I thought, my brother loved me no matter what. Okay, that's true. That's facts, black and white, put it on paper. So I started writing about my life, what I went through, and my perception, and how I just kept trying to go to a new movie, make believe land, which we all do. Oh, he's an asshole. I'll divorce him and get another one. You're starting a new picture. That's all you're doing. Dude, deal with the raw footage that you haven't even looked at. You keep putting those experts in and going, oh my God, why'd I pick the same guy? I did it again. Yeah, because you haven't gotten rid of him. It's not the guy that's the problem. It's your perception of who you are because that's the one who picked him.
Very powerful. So someone like listening right now, what would you say to them? Like, what would it feel like to be stuck in addiction, trauma, or old patterns? And what is one honest step you'd invite them to take today?
Well, you know what? I went to a therapist one time. I don't, uh, I'll tell you guys is I went to a therapist one time. I was doing some stuff. Let's just say I was being rewarded for my good behaviors with men. That's all I'm going to say. Right. And I thought I was fine. I was like, at least I'm smart now. I'm getting paid for it. That's how my mind thought. And I was 20 something. And I found this really incredible therapist because I was working at this hospital. I was doing it sober too, because now I think I'm getting smart, hurt mind, fractured, deformed. And I'm doing this and I'm like, yeah, I can do this. And then like a week later, I'm like carving out my wrist. Like I've tried to commit suicide a number of times. And I was killing the wrong person, by the way. And I went to my therapist who I'd met through John Bradshaw, this overseeing. And Paul Tobias was the first therapist in America that would defend children who killed their parents because of trauma. And so this is 84. And I get him and he says to me, "What are you doing? How come you don't want to go to therapy?" And I said, I'm just really busy. Because I'm in shame now over my actions. Because I think my outsides are going to fix everything inside when I get enough money and I do. See how I start the ego rebuilds itself? No connection to God whatsoever. Because God's like, honey, you're wonderful. I've got you. I am money. I am happiness. I am love. He's everything. I say he for the sake of, I am everything. Why do you keep going out there? But I want to be in control. I want to play God. I'm so used to my ego wants to be God. So my therapist says to me, Paul says to me, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I'm doing this, this, and this." And he goes, "Okay, that's okay. Can you make friends with that? I want you to own it." And I'm like, "Own it? No, I don't want anyone to know because that's a part of the addiction. It's a secret. Got to keep it down. Like power. See how much power that is? They don't know. Fuck, I just spent all my money. I'm in debt. I'm gambling. I'm having sex with strangers. Oh my God, I'm shooting dope. I'm smoking crack. And I'm at work today. I'm great. They never know. You know what I mean? There's my ego. And so he says, I want you to just be okay with make peace with everything you're doing. Make peace with it. So I went to therapy that night and we were going around the room. And he says, "So, Hillary, what are you doing?" Now I want to go be deep down in the basement again, go to the live town of lies. "Oh, nothing. I'm good. I'm good." There's addiction. I'm okay. He says, "What are you doing?" And he says, "Why don't you tell the truth this time?" I didn't know there was power in that at that time. I just thought, this is going to kill me. It didn't. It killed my old character. That's what it killed. And he said to me, "What are you doing?" And I revealed myself. 3 days later, I never did it again because I was honest with the core of whom I am. So if you're struggling with addiction, own it. I'm fucked up. I can't, because self can't reveal itself to self when you're in a lie. I'm so fucked up. Own it. I'm strung out. I can't stop. What the fuck I don't know what to do. I do need help. I don't know what to do. Crush the ego right there because the ego knows everything. Remember? And now you're calling that fucker out. I don't know. I have no idea. You break the spell. It's a spirit. You just broke the spell. So I highly suggest people to just be transparent. That old fucking that's the key word, the bell word today. I'm just transparent. I'm just being in my true, authentic self. No, you're not. You're full of shit. Just be honest. Dude, I'm fucked up. I can't stop getting high. I can't stop hurting myself. I don't know how to stop. And once you open that vortex up, that's a vortex. You're in a vortex. Once you open it up, you're going to start everything that doesn't align with that energy repels. Now you're going to bring in your likeness. Someone who says, "Dude, I get it. I was there. Let me show you how." Boom. Now you're in this new vortex.
I love that. Well, this has been such a powerful and amazing interview, Hillary, and I'm so glad to have met you. And I wish you nothing but continued success on your journey and much love to you.
Thank you. God bless you. You're awesome.
What a powerful and deeply honest conversation. Hillary reminded us that recovery is not just about abstaining, it's about transformation. It's about character, courage, and the willingness to face ourselves with compassion and accountability. Her life shows us that our past does not disqualify us. It prepares us. That trauma does not define us. It becomes the ground from which wisdom and service grow. Maybe today you heard something that challenged you. Maybe you felt seen in a struggle you rarely name. Or maybe you were reminded that freedom is possible, even after decades of pain. Hillary's work invites us to stop running, stop numbing, and stop sitting in what no longer serves us, and instead move toward love, truth, and inner freedom. So as you step back into your life, take one slow breath and notice what feels possible now that didn't before. Until next time, remember you are the creator of your own story and your soul is the pen. Much love to you all.